Hi Simon, good evening. How are you? In India it's evening, so it's good evening from our end.
Good evening. Nice to see you again.
Okay, so how are you first of all?
Very well, thank you. Very well. It's a bit chilly, but other than that, all good.
Okay, in India it's where like summers are here.
Absolutely. Yeah, starting to get warm out there, I would imagine now.
Yeah, okay, so I had many questions for you, but my first question has changed now after the yesterday's loss against the world's best limited overs team, that is England. So we just lost a like one-sided T20 match yesterday. So could you please tell how can this mighty England team can be beaten? They are so good actually.
Yeah, I have to say, yesterday, the first 6 overs of bowling for me was outstanding. Probably some of the best bowling I've ever seen in a power play in T20 cricket. I know there was a little bit of bounce in the wicket, which might have caught the Indians a little bit on the hop, but I have to say the England bowlers executed outstandingly. So it's going to be a challenge. But saying that, I think the toss is going to have a big factor in these games because being all day night games, the dew tends to favour the side batting second. So I think it'll be interesting to see, when England have to bat first and see how India bowl. I do believe it's going to come down to the bowling attacks. And at the moment, England obviously out bowled India yesterday. So I think it's a combination of the toss and the bowling attacks is going to dictate this series.
All right, so Indian bowling needs to stand up now to beat this mighty England limited overs team, be it T20s or be it one days, right?
Absolutely. And it was interesting. The two teams were very different with regards to their bowling attacks yesterday. England went in with only one spinner, and obviously India went in with three. So maybe that was a slight misread of conditions. I don't know. But I'm sure they'll reflect on it, and they know that the England batting lineup is going to come out and pretty much go for it from ball one. Obviously, yesterday it was a small total, so England had nothing to lose playing that way, but it's very interesting when you have to set a total compared to chasing a total. So that's why I say I want to see England bat first, and then I think that'll be a fairer judge of where both teams are.
All right, that's win and against the mighty English team. So, could you please guess your scoreline for this series?
Sorry, can you say that again? I've just lost you a bit.
Could you please predict your scoreline for this T20 and one day series?
Yeah, again, I hope it goes down to the last T20 match. I hope it's a 3-2 either way. I think it'll be great for the game. It'll be great for the spectators and the viewing public around the world. So yeah, I hope it's not dominated by one team because I think we've got some great cricketers on show. So yeah, I think it will go 3-2, and I think that final game will be decided by who bats second.
Okay, that's an amazing answer. I really love the way you have answered and actually the cricketing logic that you have explained. So that's great. Okay, so what about one day series? That is quite far, like 10 days we have from ODI series. So what do you feel about ODI series? Uh, do India hold the edge in Indian conditions?
I think they will, yes, absolutely. I think you've only got to look at India's record. The one thing I notice about the Indian side, though, when they play domestic series rather than tournament cricket, they tend to play a lot of players during the series. So, like we've seen in this first T20, they've rested Rohit Sharma and gone with Chickadawan and Rahul up front. So they don't tend to do that when it comes to tournaments. They tend to go with their best team. So it'll be interesting to see how many players they play. But yes, I still think India are favourites. But watching the interviews of Owen Morgan and Liam Livingstone over the last few days, England are very
Yes.
confident, very, very confident. just some of the language that they're using, they're believing in themselves. They're World Cup winners. They're #1 in both formats, in T20 and 50-over cricket.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest challenge for England in the 50-over game in particular will be if India produce slow spinning wickets. Because with pace on the ball, the English batters tend to dominate. It's on those slower pitches when the bowlers bowl stump to stump. That's when England have been exposed a little bit. And I think that's probably easier in the 50-over game than maybe the 20-over game. So
Right.
I think India are favourites at this stage.
Okay, so for T20s, you feel England have the edge, and for ODIs, if India prepares some slow tracks, then they have the edge.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's that close. I think it's really small margins.
Right.
Hence why I say about the toss and the day-night games. Unfortunately, the PSL recently showed that there was a large number of teams that batted second, that won the toss and elected to bat second, I should say, won the game. So the dew factor tends to go against the bowling side at the moment for some reason. So I think that will play its part.
Well, I think so. Boards need to have a look into it, and when there is the season of dew, then the matches should be scheduled like quite earlier, like late afternoon or early evening, so that both team gets, it's a balance, and the balance is the most important thing when it comes to such a close series like India versus England. Because if India win the series by 4-1 or 5-0, 5-0 is now out of equation, 4-1. Then India can become #1 T20 team, and I think so. Boards need to look to compensate the dew factor.
So, what's your prediction then? You just touched on 5-0 there. Was that your prediction?
No, England team. It's the best team, and even if India wins by 3-2, I would still say the England batting lineup is just on a different level. Everybody around the world is a fan of Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow, Ian Morgan, Moeen Ali. Moeen Ali's hitting skills, Josh Butler, Ben Stokes. So I think so in Indian conditions we hold the edge 3-2. We might win 3-2 because India have a habit of losing the first match. So the Indians are hoping that we will come back strongly. But it is the toughest one. Beating England in a limited over series is the toughest thing you can do, and it's more even tougher than beating the Australia of early 2000s when they were Adam Gilchrist and Ricky Ponting and everyone. About ODI series, I feel it's 2-1 or 3-0 for India. 3-0 is not.
I think Virat needs to win a toss. He's not had a good run on winning the toss so far in the Test series and the start of these T20s. So maybe he needs to go and practice his tossing a little bit.
I feel Virat needs to learn from Joe Root, and if he feels that he's not good in T20 cricket at the moment, then he should drop himself and he should ask someone like Surya Kumar Yadav and like Ishan Kishan. We have few young players. They should come because I remember like 3-4 years back, Ian Morgan said in a statement that if it's for the sake of the team, then I can even drop myself. So Virat needs to learn, I feel, because I really like Virat. Like everyone in India loves Virat. But about T20 cricket, I just don't. I'm not thinking he's currently doing well, because be it with RCB in IPL, he's also not doing well. So I pray he comes up well in the next few matches. But if it is not working on his way, then he should just sit out of T20s for few months at least.
Who would be your option as captain then if Virat wasn't in the team?
Obviously Rohit Sharma. In India currently he is the best captain, Rohit Sharma. Actually, Virat is a very talented. He's the world's best batsman. He's better than Rohit Sharma, I would say. But captaincy skills, I would say Rohit Sharma is better. And everybody knows Virat is good at Test captaincy. But in limited overs, it's been 2-3 good years, and we have seen Rohit doing so well in captaincy. His decision making is very much quite similar to Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So that's how we look forward. But I feel for Test and One Day, we can see Virat's captaincy. But at least for T20s, We need to build team for the future. We need to give captaincy to someone like Rohit, and also transforming it to Shreyas Iyer in the future. We have to look beyond the future as well.
I can't,
So that's how I feel.
can't see Virat giving up his place, especially with the T20 World Cup now in India. So I think you're going to have to wait until after that T20 World Cup for any changes. I think that will be a key
Right,
focus
right.
for him this year.
Yeah, of course, like Virat should lead in the upcoming T20 World Cup. I was just feeling that currently actually he's a bit out of form, so he needs to sit for few matches.
Yeah.
When the IPL comes, he need to look because IPL is such at a great the level of cricket at IPL is such on a higher level, so you can just develop the new things. You can just check where you're doing wrong, and then you can come back stronger. So that's good for you. You can also just take some respite from the bubble, and you can also see like someone like Joe Root. He's also the legend, but he's sitting out of England team, T20 team, one day team. So because uh, because the team is more important than as an individual, I always feel. And I feel currently I'm like not very much happy with Virat's performances, and I feel he needs some break from at least till T20 cricket. I feel it will be good for him as well as the Indian cricket team.
Well, to be fair, if you look at the Indian schedule over the next 12 to 18 months, it's pretty busy, isn't it? And for any human being, you're going to get tired playing the amount of cricket that he's going to have to play. So I'm sure there's going to be a period where he's going to need a break and a rest, and maybe T20 is the natural break for him. You know, you've got someone like Rohit, who's more than capable to lead the team. So sounds like a logical suggestion to me.
Yeah, of course. And Rohit, and one place is also there. So Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan are the new guys we have. They are so talented. They are tailor-made for T20 cricket at least for now. So they should be coming in. And you cannot say that they don't have the experience. They have played a lot of IPL. They and you know they after playing 6 to 7 seasons of IPL, almost playing all the matches. Then you can say you had the experience of international level.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I will just move forward to my next question now. So, England's rotation policy, it's a big topic going on in England cricket and also in world cricket. So, just talk about the England test team. They are such a talented team. They are such a bunch of good players like player like Chris Wokes. He's such a good player and he is not getting the place in the 11, be it South Africa, be it Sri Lanka, or be it India. So I just felt sad for him. He was the man of the match in World Cup semi-final last year, and he's very handy with the bat. So England's rotation policy. So where it like what's wrong with it? Like because I also don't feel that Joe Root's team is not getting that attention as Ian's team.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's certainly been a topic of discussion over here by all the cricket pundits and ex-cricketers, etc., etc. So I have a very simple view on it, and it's very hard for some people to judge about the bio bubble. None of us are living the life that they're currently living, and I'm sure that's tough. But parking the bio bubble to one side, my view has always been that against your best teams or your biggest tournaments, you play your best side. Now, over the course of a 12 months, there are going to be times when you play weaker teams, and that's the opportunity for me to rest your players. So going to India against the number one side in the world, for me, I would have wanted my best players available for the whole series. Maybe going to Sri Lanka, and this is not to discredit my former team, but they are a weaker side at the moment, lacking confidence. So if you were going to rest players, that might have been an opportunity to play some of your younger players or your fringe players to give them opportunity, and then keep everybody ready for the Indian series. So for me, it doesn't sit well with me, particularly when I'm hearing, they might rest players for the Ashes. Now, for me, the biggest series in the world is, as an Englishman, is the Ashes. And now, obviously, the next series is India from a point of view of Test cricket and then being #1 in the world. So yes, I don't quite get it. I think maybe England overthought it a little bit, maybe tried to be a little bit too clever. And unfortunately, they've come up well short, particularly in those last 2 Test matches. And I'm sure they'll be reflecting on the decisions they've made and maybe tweak a few things going forwards. But unless you try these things, you never know. But on this occasion, I think they got it wrong.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that unless you try the things, you never know what's wrong. But actually, it has costed them the place in the finals. Like had Bairstow in the team since first match, uh, Chris Wokes in the playing 11, and if you talk about someone like Moeen Ali playing all the Test matches in pink ball Test, India could have been in danger. And actually, as Ravi Shastri said earlier, I also feel the same. 3-1 score lines doesn't reflect how the matches were. There were sessions where India were dominated by England. In the fourth test, we were 146 for 6. In the third test, we had only the lead of 33 runs.
Mm.
So I feel that the 3-1 score lines doesn't reflect how England played. England played really well, no doubt. If they had players like Chris Wokes, Moeen Ali, Johnny Bairstow from the first match, it could have been 2-2. I also feel the same. Because Dan Lawrence, Dominic Sibley, although they have failed, but I like their batting and their technique against spin is amazing. And actually, the footwork is there. So when you have the footwork, I'm sure that they should be when the next time England team visits India, they should be in the squad. And I also want to add one thing. If England had promoted Dan Lawrence up the order, Ben Foakes up the order at 3 or 4 probably, it could have been a different game because they are a good player of spin. And had they been there for a few more runs, like 200 odd for 4 wickets, then Bairstow could have exploited us 300, 350 runs, and Indians could have lost the match. So I feel players like Ben Foakes, Dan Lawrence, and Dom Sibley need much more backing. They need to play up the order, I feel, because Dan Lawrence and Ben Foakes, for me, is currently the best wicket-keeper batsman in Test cricket. His batting technique against the spin, I really liked, and I think so. No one like said, but in the pink ball test or in the last ball test, he was very much comfortable against the spin ball. Although he didn't score much, but he was not getting beaten, and that's the thing you notice, that he's so confident. So I feel rotation policy and playing your best players of spin down the order have just hurted their chances. It had been, yes.
Possibly, I'll just challenge that a little bit, because if you look at both top orders, and India's as well, none of them really fired. Obviously,
Yeah.
Root got the runs in the first innings, and you got some great players in that India side. Rohit Sharma obviously contributed a little bit, but consistent performances in that top order became limited. And if you look at the first 30 overs of every Test match, that was when the majority of wickets were taken. So even when Dan Lawrence batted up the order in the first Test at number 3, even he struggled a little bit. So, for me, I think it was tough. It was tough as a top order batter to bat in this innings. It was probably slightly easier as the overs went through, kind of 30 overs onwards. It got a little bit easier to bat. And no disrespect to Ashwin, he played brilliantly and Pant played brilliantly. But just because they played brilliantly, the situation of the game, the timing of when they batted is quite crucial as well. But yeah, look, England have definitely got to reflect on it. Those young batters will definitely learn from the experience, and I know obviously a couple of them personally, and they'll come back and they'll definitely want to go back to India in the future and succeed, a bit like obviously Alistair Cook did and Kevin Peterson did back when
Yes.
had success out there. So So yeah, it was disappointing, but you know, looking forwards, we've got this fantastic white ball series now, and you know, England are a confident team, so it's going to be a really good battle.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like actually, the T20 and One Day series are much more exciting, and it will be a much more even contest. And there is no something because actually, I also feel that India should not prepare slow tracks because when it comes to ICC World Cup, ICC events, which is in India, ICC will take care of the pitches. So that's not a fair. That won't help. You need to learn to play in the neutral conditions. So I think so. I think so that. India should prepare fair tracks so that they could learn more. And India have a good bench strength as well. They can just try. Sometimes due to bubble, players have a lot of mental fatigue. KL Rahul played his first match yesterday, and he had been in the bubble since February.
Yeah.
So we can see like 45 days. So it is hitting the mental conditions. So try fresh players. So that's how it will work. Okay, I will just move forward to my next question now because India versus England is a never-ending topic, and we have few more questions to ask, and you have a busy schedule ahead for the day, so we need to respect that as well.
No
So
problem.
next question, Sri Lankan cricket team. Okay, so Sri Lankan cricket team has a major downfall since you left.
No comment. No
Actually,
comment.
yeah, actually they had a major downfall. Like
Mm.
they tried players like um, Chandimal, and they have players like Tirimane. They have been back for a long time, and even now they are back. I can yesterday only Nuwan Pradeep in the last two overs Sri Lanka lost the game. They were very close to winning the game, but so like what is the problem with Sri Lankan cricket? They have the players who have the caliber. They can give surprises any day. But what's going wrong actually? Why they are not the tough team that they used to be in 2015?
Yeah, well, the first thing is I think that you know, they've had some amazing players over the years, haven't they? You know, they've had some real entertaining, match-winning cricketers from, you know, your Murlis, your Rangana Haras, your Sangakaras, you know, your Jayasurias, Aravinda de Silva. So many good cricketers. I think what's possibly happened is that they've got a little bit complacent. And one of the things that they need to sort out desperately, and this was when I was there as well, was a proposal that I put to them, along with obviously talking to all the legends of the game there. You know, Mahela Sangha were hugely, you know, in discussions. It's the domestic cricket. So it's the first class cricket that they need to bring in a competition or something that gets the best players playing against the best players. With their current first class system, they have diluted the quality because they've got so many teams involved. And also the pitches that they play on are very spin friendly. So in my first year there, I did a review of the domestic cricket because they had a lot of fast bowling injuries. Okay, so when I did a full review of that, it became evidently clear that in their first class domestic competition, 80% of the overs were bowled by spinners. Okay, so there's a
Okay,
number of factors, a number of factors that kick in. One, your fast bowlers only bowl with the new ball, so they might only bowl for 4 to 6 overs in a spell, and that's their day done. So if you're looking at the amount of overs fast bowlers bowl in other countries, including India itself, you know, it'll kind of be 18 to 20 in a day. So the body's getting adjusted, but also the players are getting confidence with their skills and taking wickets. So that was one. The other side of it was that the batters only ever faced spin predominantly. So the first class averages were inflated quite a bit, some of the batters. So when you suddenly looked at them play against the short ball, particularly in South Africa or Australia, then things started to get exposed. Players didn't know how to play the short ball. So there were a number of factors that came out of that review. and back then we made the start of a provincial tournament when I was there, where we had a smaller number of teams, and we selected the best players to play against the best players, and the cricket was fantastic. So unfortunately that got stopped when I left, and currently there is nothing in between first class cricket and international cricket. Thankfully the LPL started this year, which was another thing that we proposed when I was there, and that's going to give young players the opportunity to learn and improve. So that's fantastic, and it was great to see the young players, get the opportunity and win matches. So a number of them have got opportunities in overseas tournaments now on the back of that. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done, and it's got to be done in the best interest of Sri Lanka cricket. I really hope that Tom Moody, as Director of Cricket, is allowed the freedom to do that, and self-interest doesn't have an impact, because ultimately that was the problem. Self-interest was starting to make the decisions not in the best interest of Sri Lanka cricket and developing players for the international team, in my opinion.
Yes, a few days back when I read that Tom Moody has been appointed a director of cricket, I was so happy, and I felt like now the brighter days of Sri Lankan cricket are back. Because when he was appointed coach back in 2005, then again Sri Lankan cricket starting to dominate, and I feel Vanendu Hasranga and Guntalika and 3-4 more players they have. I cannot recall the name. They're quite difficult to recall. They have few players and 2 fast bowlers from under 19 that have slingy action. I cannot recall their name. So they have been called for CSK camp just a couple of days back. So I feel these are some bright points that you can figure out in Sri Lankan cricket. And yes, you can.
Trust me, there is talent in that country. There is talent. I've seen it for myself. And in fact, I'd say there's more talent there than there is in England in what I've seen, from a point of view of young players. The challenge is, from under 19 level onwards, is how they're looked after, how they're managed, and how they're coached. Okay, that is the biggest gap at the moment. And if you play too much what I call comfortable cricket, easy cricket, you can stop your development. And there's a number of players who unfortunately have fallen into that trap. But from my time there, spin wise, we even got a group of fast bowlers together. Lahiru Kumara was the one that came through while I was there. Yes. Played for the Sri Lankan under-19s, and we got him straight into the national team because he can bowl 140 Ks plus regularly.
Yes.
And there are others. They've just got to be looked after properly and allowed the opportunity. That's the critical factor at the moment, is allowing these good players the opportunity to play at a high level, be exposed to playing with better players, and being challenged. That's the critical thing.
Okay, so that's a right thing. So Sri Lanka has really a good bunch of talent, new talent, like the slingy actions, mysterious bowling actions, and all. So everything is there within Sri Lanka. They need to be handled after under 19 World Cup, right? So that's how it is important.
Definitely. And even at the under-19 World Cup, they've underachieved. During my time there, I think we won the plate. We didn't qualify for it, but we should have. We should have. The players were that good. So Avishka Fernando is another one. He was captain of my under-19s when I was there. Lahiru Kumara. Okay. And there are other players there. Asham Bandara, who's just made his debut.
Yeah, I explained.
I've forgotten the opening batter as well, who's a fine player, who's just made his debut. He was in the under-19s.
Yes, I remember.
He should be in the Test side. He's good for me. So they're definitely there. But yeah, it needs a strong character like Tom. When ECB were trialing it, it's a faster game. That's the thing. As a spectator, it goes quickly because you haven't got all the the changing of ends. You bowl 10 overs from one end and 10 overs from the other. So it's a lot. Well, 10 overs, yeah, 100 balls. So it's a quicker game. I think it's going to be really interesting to see from a tactical point of view how people play it. But it's exciting. And the fact that it's franchises in the UK is something brand new for us. So it's going to be interesting to see how the English public take to it. But fingers crossed, we'll get crowds in. That's the important thing for it. August time, the COVID situation, the vaccinations are flying out. In fact, I've had mine this morning, so I'm okay.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully we'll have crowds in August, and it'll go off really, really well. I think it's a really important part of English cricket's future from a financial point of view.
Yeah, for sure, it's very different, and actually, if it goes on to be a big success, then many countries are going to adopt it.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? There's lots of different variations coming out now. Obviously, the T10 has started the last couple of years. Even the Big Bash has changed some of the regulations from a point of view of substitutes and various other things. So yeah, it's interesting. I hope that we don't try to get too funky with the rules, because ideally you want someone who doesn't know anything about cricket turning up and understanding what's going on in front of them pretty quickly, because that's the danger with Test cricket is, if you don't know anything about cricket, you kind of look at Test cricket and you don't understand it. So the simplicity of T20 cricket, I think, is one of its biggest competitive advantage, and I think that's what they're trying to do with 100.
Okay, that's amazing. So we are all excited for this. So apart from the T20 World Cup, we have the 100 coming up. So the whole world is excited about it. Okay, I'll just move forward to my last question for now, as we have a busy schedule ahead. So ICC World Test Championship we played in Southampton from 18th of June to 22nd of June. So who is going to win, like India or New Zealand? You're going to be neutral here, so yeah, a fair answer is expected.
Absolutely. So I don't know, did you watch any of the England-Pakistan series that they played there last summer at the Rose Bowl? It's going to be interesting. I think don't underestimate New Zealand. New Zealand are. I'm always impressed with New Zealand sport, if I'm honest, because given the amount of people that they've got in their country compared to India, they punch above their weight. They are always there or thereabouts when it comes to key tournaments. I think their bowling attack is decent, given it's going to be in English conditions. I'm assuming they're going to play with the Duke's ball if the final's in England. So that will be a help for the New Zealand bowlers. So I think it will come down to the batting lineups. Out the two batting lineups, who can play better in English conditions? So I think it will be a decent final. I think again it will depend on the pitch at the Rose Bowl, because you can get a variety of pitches there. But I have to say, generally, the international pitches are really, really good. So it will swing. It will swing there. So how those batters play the swinging ball will be critical. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but I'm going to go India.
You'll go with India?
I'm going to go India. It'll be close, though. It'll be a good game.
Thank you so much for your support to India. And I feel that if it's going to swing, then also it's going to favor us as well. Absolutely. We have Shami, we have Bumrah, and if Bhuvi is fit for Test cricket, he's also dangerous in the conditions, English conditions.
Absolutely. Your bowling. That's why I say your bowling attack and New Zealand's bowling attack are decent. So that's why I think it's going to come down to the batting lineups. Which team bats better is going to win it. Because Indian cricket over the last 10 years, has developed their fast bowlers. When you used to go to India, you used to say, okay, you're going to face spin, but they're not going to have anyone over over 90 miles an hour, you've now got that up your sleeve. You know, that's where Indian cricket has been very clever and very smart. You know, I think it was the MRF bowling academy that was first produced with Dennis Lilly and co. that started this evolution in India. So full credit to them. They've got definitely match-winning bowlers, you know, as fast bowlers now. That is for sure.
Yes, actually, in India, like a few years back, there were no fast bowlers, but now you can see India has a great bunch of fast bowlers. Like with IPLs, with domestic cricket, we have the neutral pitches, sporting pitches. They don't favor only spinners. Like a track in Hyderabad, it favors fast bowlers. Sometimes the track of New Delhi, like Firoz Shah Kotla, now known as Arun Jaitley Stadium, it also favors sometimes fast bowlers. So the tracks here also help the fast bowlers. So that is how BCCI has been doing very well. That we were not good as fast bowlers like 20 years back, but since last 15 years we have very good fast bowlers, and courtesy to IPL as well.
Absolutely. No, they're doing a great job in developing players in India, and a good friend of mine, Raul Dravid, I reckon he's the man who's changed it for Indian cricket. He's doing a great job at the National Cricket Academy, and there's no surprise that these young players are making the transition into international cricket a lot easier than maybe other countries are. So no, Indian cricket are doing a good job at the moment, that is for sure.
Yes, actually, for Rahul Dravid, every person in India has a respect for him. So if a respected person like Rahul Dravid advises you something, you listen to it carefully and you also work. So that is very good thing. And Siddharth Trivedi, he was a fast bowler of Rajasthan Royals. He's just retired last year. So he told me that he played for Rajasthan Royals for 5 to 6 good seasons. So he told me that you can call Rahul Dravid even at 2 a.m. in the night. So he's such a friendly coach. You can ask about him anything. So that is the thing. You have a respect for the person, and a person who is respected, everyone listens to him, and he has got a huge bunch of experience. So that is why India is such a great, successful team now. And if they can just overcome England limited overs team, then I would say they're the greatest of all time.
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? That's the challenge.
Of course.
If India can become #1 in all 3 formats, that'd be a hell of a feat, won't it? So, you know, I'm sure Virat will be pushing your guys to achieve that. But I also know that this is a very, very confident England team at the moment in white ball cricket. So it's going to be great to watch it unfold, that is for sure, over the next 6 to 8 months.
Right. Okay, so Samin, thank you so much for your valuable time and valuable feedbacks, advices regarding the cricket, and it was great interacting with you. And I hope Fledgings Cricket goes on to do great things. And Cricketkeeda.in is also excited to work with Fledgings. So in the near future, if you have any opportunity for us, we can just stay in touch, and we can help in developing the game of cricket everywhere in the world.
Absolutely. It's been great joining you, and look forward to doing it again in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your valuable time. Have a nice day, and we'll stay in touch.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, bye. Okay, so that was an amazing live. Hope you all must have enjoyed. So